All right. Welcome back, everybody, to Dropping the Gloves. Our guest has a limited time frame, so we're going to jump right into it. He's the man of the hour, going back to where it all started. Milan Lucic joins the show again. Thank you, Milan, for joining us. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Ah, couldn't be better now I'm talking to you. Before we started recording, I was just making fun of you, saying, how the hell are you signing all these deals? So let's break down how it happened. July 1st, you're a new man. You're a free agent. How many calls? 10, 15 GMs calling you and your agent saying, we want Milan. We need his services. How was that day breaking down for you?
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. There was I think that many, like you said, and
No, really?
yeah, and
Wow.
honestly, I think now that my cap hit is back down, I think that's why, there was a lot of interest and with the salary cap being what it is, and it not going up really at all. Uh um, there was a lot of interest. And actually, one of the teams I talked to the most was a team that you played for, the Chicago Blackhawks. And yeah, I talked to them a lot. Um, you know, it, they were one of the first teams, if not the first team, to reach out. And you've played there. It's a great city, original six team, and that's something that I kind of gravitated me to go into a place like that, was to get a chance to play for an original six team again, and knowing how much that means and what that is. So that's why I had some lengthy conversations with Kyle and Luke Richardson. And you know what, I gotta say this first off, I'm very thankful for Craig Conroy, because he had my rights, but he gave me the opportunity to talk to other teams, before July 1st. and
Yeah.
and and that's why I was able to just have some conversations before anything, before July 1st happened. But yeah, like you said, there was a lot of interest. um so it was nice to go through again. But I think, I went with my heart and where it all started, and wanted to go back to being a Boston Bruin again.
Did you expect to have that many teams interested in you? Because you're 35. You've been through the ringer. You've had people telling you that you're done for the last 5 years of your career, but you still keep playing, you still contribute. Was it a nice feeling to be like, man, like I still got it?
Yeah, and I think a lot of it had to do with, my decision of reaching out and going to the World Championships. And I
Mm.
think, a lot of teams that I talked to, they had said that, uh, they could still see the love for the game that I have. And, a lot of that was said by my decision to go play in the World Championships. And a lot of them said they could see it in my face and my eyes, and how much fun I was having and smiling and all that type of stuff. So they could still see that there was fire left in me, and that's something, that they saw, that that sparked their interest in wanting me to be, on their teams. So honestly, I think,
Hmm.
my decision of going to the World Championship got me another contract. Because it, I went there, I played well, I had a good tournament, I had a lot of fun. Was a part of a great group and a great team, and all that type of stuff. And it was just, something that I really wanted to do, and something that I wanted to experience. And it was a lot of fun doing that. And then ultimately, I think, it got me another deal in the NHL.
Well, because the last time we talked, I think it was you were on vacation in Mexico. It was it the All-Star break?
Yes.
And you would finish up the interview, we're like, Calgary's gonna take off after this. We're really hitting our groove. It didn't happen. You guys struggled down the stretch. You guys weren't having fun. There was stuff going on in the press. It just wasn't working for whatever reason. Do you want to talk about that at all? Me and Tim bantered about it. Do you just want to blow past it? I'm cool to do that. What happened last year? Why didn't it work?
Honestly, it was one of those things where it felt like everything that could go wrong did go wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, we still had more points than the Florida Panthers,
Yeah.
in the standings. And you mean, how do you explain 17 overtime losses and being a part of 51 goal games and hitting 80 posts? No, so like, how do you explain it other than everything that could go wrong did go wrong? And yeah, it was just one of those things. It just felt like, we'd never had a moment where everyone was playing well at the same time. You get what I'm saying? And we never had a
Yeah.
moment
Yeah.
where, like someone took the bull by the horns and led the charge and said, "Okay, we're turning this around and moving it in the right direction." It just, for whatever reason, that just, even just thinking about it and talking about it right now, it was like it's frustrating because that's literally the best word to describe what was going on all season long, was just a whole ton of frustration. And it wasn't because we weren't getting along. It wasn't because teammates had issues with each other. It wasn't because, there was, you know, whatever, bad chemistry in the room. It wasn't because, of all this stuff that people were trying to say. It was just a ton of frustration, and it just continued to just build and build and build, and we were never really able to get out of it, and we ended up where we ended up, and that was what, 2-3 points out of a playoff spot.
So Daryl didn't choke slam Huberdeau in the locker room,
No,
like I read somewhere.
no,
Okay.
no.
And then Kadri didn't cuss the team out saying, I want to go back to Colorado.
No,
Okay.
that did
Okay.
not happen.
Okay. Well, I'm just clearing my bases here. I didn't know. You know what else rumor I heard this day? I told one of my friends I was interviewing you. He's like, is it true the Bruins circumvented the cap when they won the cup and they were getting Bitcoin under the table? Is that true?
What?
Okay.
It's
I'm
the
just
first.
I
What?
just someone told me they said the Bruins were getting Bitcoin back in 2010 or something. I'm just saying, okay. No, no,
That's
no truth to
new
that.
news to me.
It's news to Tim too. I didn't really say anything. Sorry, Tim. I'm springing this on you. You guys are Boston guys.
It didn't exist back then, John. You know that.
It did exist. All right, moving on. We're getting through free agency. Tell us why you picked Boston. You had all these suitors. You mentioned the nostalgic, the original six. Were you excited when Sweeney calls you? Who gives you the first call from the Bruins? And did you expect it?
uh, yeah, the first guy to call me was Sweens. Don called me and we had a conversation. First, we talked about how both of us were doing. It had been a long time since we talked, and yeah. And then first question was, he said, "Do you even have interest of coming back?" And I said, "Yes, of course." I mean, I've literally been thinking about it for the last 5 years, how great it would be, how cool it would be to go back. And you know, we had a good 20-30 minute conversation, and then after that Jim Montgomery called me and I talked to him 2-3 times, and and then like I said, I was talking to other teams and all this type of stuff. But at the end of the day, it was, for me, it was just, obviously they're still a really good team. I don't care what you say. Obviously they blew it in the first round there to Florida, and but at the end of the day, I mean, you don't have 65 wins by accident. They still have a foundation there, that they're a really good team. So, that was something that I wanted to be a part of, was a good team. And then to be able to go back to the Bruins, I mean, to have that opportunity is like a dream come true. And it's where I spent my best years. And not only that, it's, one of the things that I said, it's selfishly, like, my kids don't know me as a Boston Bruin. My
Oh, no
daughter
kidding.
was 2 years old when I traded. My oldest daughter, who's 10 now. My youngest daughter got was born a month before I got traded. And, my son, he's only 5 years old. So I don't think he knows much other than me as a Calgary Flame. So, like I said, my kids don't know me as a Boston Bruin, and that's kind of what everyone else knows me as. So, to be able to go back and share this experience with them and my family and all that type of stuff, and to go back to see where they were born and kind of live there and grow up there. It's that all played into it as well. And yeah, it's just something that I thought about a lot over the last couple of years. How cool it would be to be a Boston Bruin again. And I just once they called me and said they wanted me back, I was kind of like, all right, this is an opportunity that I've wanted for a long time. And it's something that I'm more than honored to be able to do again.
Did you
And
hear
it's pretty
from?
cool. And it's pretty cool. Like, it's my 17th year going back, to Boston for my
Mhm.
17th year. It's their century season. So to be able
Oh,
to be a part of the Bruins 100th year as a Bruin is
that's
kind of
cool.
cool too. So yeah, so that's all plays into it as well.
Did you get Marchie or Pasta calling you up and saying, "Hey, Luch, let's go. Come on back." Was there any recruitment from those guys?
Not much. They didn't have to recruit me much. But I obviously did talk to them, just asking them. I actually talked to Bergie a bunch too, just asking him, how's the coach? How, because things change,
Yeah.
things change. It's a new practice rink. The garden looks different. It's a completely different coaching staff, all that type of stuff. So yeah, it's just kind of just asking him how that all is.
Is he coming
Uh,
back?
I don't know. You'd have to ask
Mm.
him.
Well, you talked to him. I don't have his info, so I figured you could just be the go-between. So,
You know what? Bergie's Bergie. Bergie's a legend.
okay.
He can do
Okay.
whatever he wants,
Okay.
and yeah, Bergie's gonna make the right decision that he needs to make for himself. And I think he's earned the right to make that decision himself.
If he doesn't come back, are you requesting the C then?
No.
I have a question for you, Luch. I'm a Boston guy. A lot of nervous Bruins fans. Pretty devastating ending to the season for them, considering what they did during the regular season. Given your time in the league and some of those guys, what's your outsider's perspective? How do they let that series slip through their fingers, and why do they lose in the first round to a team that barely got into the playoffs?
It's hard to say. I mean, think about it. They were seconds away of Marshy's breakaway
Mm-hmm.
in game 5 to moving on, and who knows what happens after that. But again, there's turning points like that all the time. Bob comes in, finds his game again, makes that save, and then all of a sudden, boom, they score in overtime, and then they win that crazy game 6, where they were down a bunch of times, and then they were down in game 7 too, and Montour finds a way to score with a minute left, and and then once you get into overtime, literally anything can happen. But I don't know. It's just, but we've seen it before, and where everything goes right for a team in the season, and it's almost like they don't face any adversity. You saw it with Tampa in 2019. Was it 2019 where they lose to Columbus in the first round? Same thing.
Yep.
Bob stands on his head. Kind of the
Yeah.
same thing. How many great teams have we seen? Not really. And again, I I was doing my own thing, so I didn't watch everything the Bruins went through last year. But it almost seems like when everything goes right for a team in the season, it's just bound for something to go bad for them,
Yeah.
in the playoffs. And I'm not saying that that's just what happened to the Bruins here. I'm saying that I'm just thinking of history, of how many great teams have been so great and then don't get it done in the playoffs. It's happened so often, and I think a lot of teams need to go through some adversity, some hard times throughout the course of a season. Because when they come out of that, it brings the group together, and it makes the team stronger. Again, I wasn't in that Bruins room. I wasn't in there. I know they have strong leadership. I know they have great coaching. They have great players, all that type of stuff. But I'm just going off of history, and what I've seen and what I've learned is, sometimes when things are going too right for you, it's eventually eventually something wrong is going to happen. And I think that's kind of what happened there.
Right, Tim?
Yeah, yeah. It's been tough. A follow up to that. So like a lot of Bruins fans are nervous just because you lose so many guys in the off season and you got the cap overage and all this stuff. And they think that maybe they're nervous that we peaked last year. And I know you wouldn't go to a team that you didn't think was competitive and had a chance of winning. So what would you say to the Bruins fans who are nervous about last year being as good as we get?
Well, like I said, I think the core is still there, and I think the foundation is there. Obviously, you know, we just talked about Bergie, and you lose Bergie and Kretsch. Um, those are two pretty big holes to fill. I don't care who you are, but like I said, the core is still there, the foundation is still there, the work ethic is still there. The coaching staff, is still there, and I mean, all those things are in place. You know, to build around, and when you have that foundation, that team, that core is still set. So, like I said, there's still a lot to look forward to. There's still a lot to build around. And it's really funny. Like, I talked about all those Bruins, the Bruins last year and all the great Bruins teams. I would say 2011 probably wasn't even our best. It wasn't even like the best team that I was on when I was there for 8 years. I think of like 2009, how good we were, and we lost to Carolina. In 2014, when we lost to Montreal, that was, I think those two teams were almost better than the 2011 team that we had. But, we had the core, we had the foundation, we had things to build around. And I think that's, something. And we came off a epic collapse in 2010, and then, one in 2011. So, they just had a collapse in 2023. So who's to say, the same script can't be written, moving forward here into 23, 24.
I just had a flashback of Dale Weiss just owning you in those playoffs.
Oh, no.
Did anybody else think that? It's crazy.
Not how I remember it.
After our interview, Dale Weiss reached out to us and was like, "Hey, can I come on the show?" And I was like, we're okay. I'm okay. No, thanks. But okay, I want to go back to your recruitment for free agency, because I'm always fascinated by it. What's Sweeney saying to you? You've embraced your fourth line role, it seems like. I just watched a Bob Probert documentary last night. And the whole time I'm watching this, they're talking about how this guy is a unicorn. He scores 20 goals. He gets, 150, 200 penalty minutes. I'm still racking my brain. Who is that player these days? And it's you. You've scored 20 plus goals many, many times. You've been that guy. You're arguably the toughest guy in the league. Can you bring 20 goals again? Can you bring 25 goals again? Do you still have that ability? Or are you now just, which is nothing wrong with that, a fourth line guy who goes out there, puts in 5 to 10 goals and plays his role?
I'd love to be that guy. And you know what? That's one of the things that went into my decision when I was talking to teams, was talking to the coaches, is I just wanted an opportunity to play, an opportunity to have a role on the team. And that was one thing also that I had really good conversations with Monty, was, what my role was going to be. And listen, and I said to him, and I said to the other coaches, I'm not sitting here asking to play 15 plus a night, but if you want to play me 15 plus a night, I'd love to,
Mm-hmm.
And there are games where I'm going, where, I'm still myself and produce in a big way. Am I going to play all 82 games this year? I don't know, but I understand what my role is. There's nights where I'm going to play 6, 7 minutes a night because of power play, because of penalty kill, or because I'm just not rolling that night. But also, there's nights where I'm going to have the opportunity to move up the lineup because I am playing well. And that was one of the things that I talked to a lot with the teams and the coaches that I talked to, and was just having that role. But for the most part, for myself, it's just being an experienced guy, being a leader, bringing the right attitude. I'm a fun guy too. I like to bring the fun on a day-to-day basis. And
What
for
does
me,
it
it's
mean when
just
you
it's
bring
just
the fun, Milan?
the, just smiling, singing along to whatever song's going on in the dressing room. Just BSing, all that type of stuff. Trying to have intelligent conversations. Also having dumb conversation, movie quotes, all that type of stuff. I enjoy it all. But yeah, like I said, it's just bringing experience, bringing leadership, all that type of stuff, and just doing that on a day-to-day basis.
Okay. I got a couple more than I know Tim does. Last time we talked, you were talking about blah, blah, blah. You mentioned Vancouver. Did Vancouver reach out to you? I'm sorry if I'm beating a dead horse here with this free agency thing. I want to know if Vancouver reached out. And did you talk to them?
They did, but it wasn't really a serious conversation.
Okay. You just you said you're not a contender. Take care, comb your hair.
And there wasn't much interest on their part as well.
Okay. All right. Another one. We had Reeves on last week. He's going to Toronto. Zach McEwen size in Ottawa. Florida's got some meat. Rangers and the Devils, not really. Do you see yourself, being the Milan Lucic of the East? You're the top dog. Is because it ebbs and flows, right? You know as well as I do. The toughness goes to conference. It was out west a while. Now all of a sudden, one guy signs out east, and it comes east. Are you still confident in your abilities to fight? Do you still got what it takes?
I do.
Okay.
And that's a part of me being me. So like I talked to you about it last time. I've always enjoyed it. I've always enjoyed that part of the game. And I mean, Boston fans wouldn't like it if I didn't do that. So,
Yeah.
But like I said, it's just got to bring myself, and that's a part of me being me. And like you said, our division, look at it, it's loaded now.
It's
And
tough.
then you didn't even bring up the Kachuk brothers, and I know they're not big fighters, but they do stir it up. And I know both of them, and they are going to stir it up, and they bring it on a night-to-night basis. And I think a lot of teams out east have beefed up because the Kachucks are out east. So it's like you said, it's swings and flows. When I first came to the league, I think a lot of it was west, and then it swung east. Then it went back to west here a little bit, and now it's swung back to east. So it's crazy how it flows, and it's crazy how like you said, once one guy goes one way, it seems like everyone seems to find their way in the same conference or same division. So here it's kind of happened again.
Have you changed your tune as to why you and Char wouldn't fight me when I was with Buffalo? Or is that still, you didn't hear me? Or has that changed yet?
No, it hasn't.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure we're still on the same page. Tim, you had one more, didn't you?
Who would really want to fight you? Come on.
Sean Thornton did.
I know. Well, that was Thorny's job.
I loved playing the
Bruins.
There was nothing better than going to the Bruins because I know you had four guys who could throw. Because McQuaid was in there, he was a gamer. Then you, Zdeno, and I knew I was going to play, so it was fantastic. It was always a good game. One of my most memorable games was after the Boston Marathon bombing. One of my most coolest experiences in hockey. Kind of odd how that worked.
Yeah, that was a crazy one. Yeah, with the fans singing the anthem and everything, it was crazy.
I know, and then we won the game too. We
Yeah, you
should have let
guys.
you guys win.
Yeah. So
Ruined it.
it's okay though. It's okay.
It's okay. All right, Tim's got one more. Then I got a couple. We'll let you go.
Yeah. Besides the garden and the fans and all that stuff, what have you missed most about Boston and the city itself?
Mm.
Uh, I mean, the fans in the garden. I mean, no,
I knew that you were going to say that.
you know what? It's funny. I didn't realize kind of how much I became a Bostonian until I was gone. Just because like I got there as a 19-year-old, like I was a kid when I got there, and then I was there for 18 years or 8 years. So I became an adult. I just walking around, learning the city, interacting with people. Just even the way people would speak to each other and jaywalk, all that type of stuff. It was I think I just became one with the people in Boston, but just to kind of go back there and have that connection again, I think that's what I'm looking forward to. And I think that's what I've missed. And like I said, I don't think I realized how much I missed it and how much I became a Bostonian until I was gone. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm really, honestly, another thing too, is I'm really looking forward to taking my kids to Fenway and, raising them as Bostonians. So I'm looking forward to showing them all the stuff that I got to do when I was a kid to show them as a kid. So yeah, those are the things I miss, and those are the things that I'm, looking forward to.
Any nerves? Game 1 at home. I'm not sure who the Bruins play. I'm assuming you'll be in the what's that?
Chicago.
Chicago at home.
At home.
Original 6. You're going to be in the starting lineup, I would assume, if Monty has any class, which he does. How nervous are you going to be? Be honest.
Honestly, it probably be probably one of the games I'm probably looking forward to the most in my career. And honestly, it might hit me with a wave of emotions where I might even tear up. That's how much I'm looking forward to it. So
no kidding.
Yeah.
Why? Is it just because of Boston, or what? Why all the emotions, do you think?
Just because it's Boston, because it's the fans, because it's the Garden, because it's the original 6, because I get to wear the jersey again, because I get to, represent the Bruins again. It was just something that was such a big part of me and something that I missed so much that I think it'll really hit me with a big wave of emotion. And yeah, that's why I think I'm really, what I'm kind of looking forward to, just getting the first shift over, or first period over, so I can just be like, okay, that's over with. Now I can just breathe and go out there and play again.
Hypothetical. It's first period. Connor Bedard's got the puck, and you have him just in the trolley tracks.
Well, you got to run him over.
Do you bury him? Okay. Just a hypothetical. I just wanted to see. Another thing. What if Arizona, July 1st, said, Luch, we want you $3.5 million for 3 years? Are you playing in Scottsdale right now, or wherever the college rink is, Tempe?
It would be hard to say no, but it would be tough. Like I said, I wanted to go. That was a big. I wanted to go somewhere where like it meant something. Not only like, not that it doesn't mean anything, and I don't want to like throw shade at Arizona or
Oh, they're a
anything like
garbage
that.
franchise. I'll do it. I think they're an absolute joke.
But for me, I just like I said, that's why I talked to Chicago too, even though, I mean, I'm not going to say they're not going to be a good team next year, because they do have some, not bad players coming in. But you know, but it's meaningful. Like you've played there. It's meaningful playing for the Chicago Blackhawks. And that's one thing that I wanted to kind of experience again, was going back to an original 6 team, or a team out east, or a team, you know, that's winning on a night to night basis, and all that type of stuff. So I kind of, that played into my decision. So like I said, if Arizona comes to me with 3 years, like you said, 3.5, it would be really hard to say no to.
But you would.
Because, but I probably would say no to it.
Yeah. Well, and then to go back to like actually having some history, when I used to play, when we used to go to like old fashioned arenas, we played at the old Joe Louis. I would go to the ice and I would look up and you see the
Yeah,
banners, you see the retired numbers, you feel the history when you go to MSG, when you go to the Garden. You feel that history. It's not like that when you go to even Dallas. It's like, oh, okay, this is Dallas. It's great. Or you go to Arizona, these teams, it doesn't have that feeling, you know? So I get it. And Boston was a team I wanted to play for Boston, but
well,
they didn't want to have the toughest guy in the league on their team for some reason.
well, I think that's where we're similar. Is where I think we're both like historians of the game. We enjoy the history of the game. And it's funny you brought that what you just set up because I kind of do the same thing. And when I would go back, obviously, I would go walk out to the bench before warm-ups and just take it all in.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing with MSG. I would walk out there and just take it all in and look at the numbers and even look at the Knicks stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
same thing with Chicago. I'd go out there and just look around and it's like you said, it's meaningful, it's cool, it's something that you want to, embrace, I think. And like I said, that played into my decision again was to, just to, go somewhere where it's a cool place to be and a cool place to live and a cool place to put on their jersey. And like I said, being an original six team, it's truly something that's really awesome. And like I said, I'm so grateful and so thankful that I get this opportunity again. And one thing I wanted to, make clear too, this isn't a farewell tour for
I was
me.
just going to ask you that. It seems
I'm
like
not
you're
going
just,
back.
yeah,
No, I'm not. I'm just saying all this stuff because
I'm going to be
I'm like I
crying.
said, I'm a historian of the game and I enjoy the little things in the history of the game. But by no means am I going here just to have a farewell tour to say that I was a Bruin, my
Mhm.
last year and got to do all that type of stuff. That's not why I'm doing this at all. I'm going back for the right reasons. I'm going back to help a team win. Going back to help a team try and, achieve the ultimate goal because that's my goal is to win a Stanley Cup. And yeah, that's why I'm continuing to play.
Finally out of Alberta, right?
You know what? I was in Alberta for 7 years,
Yeah, you were.
you know what? I took it in. I enjoyed it. For anyone that follows me on social media, they see I've done it all. I've been to Banff and Lake Louise and driven through Jasper and rafted the Bow River and all that type of stuff. I soaked it all in. So I did my time as an Albertan, so I enjoyed that as well.
How loud is the ovation going to be first game? It's going to be nuts for you.
Well, I think we'll hear some Lou chants.
What if you're a healthy scratch and you just have a bad camp? I
was
hope
it,
that
years
happens,
ago?
Tim.
Then that's on me. Then that's my fault if that happens.
Oh, you know what I wanted to ask? Are you excited to work with Trent Frederick? Tough kid, a lot of spunk and energy. Are you going to take him under your wing a little bit and show him the ropes? Because he could use some seasoning, you know?
Yeah, and that was one of the guys that like me and Sweens talked about was me coming in and helping young guys like him. I haven't talked to him personally yet, but you always look forward to being teammates with guys and I have watched the Bruins a bunch and I've watched his game a lot. And one of the games that sticks out for me this last year was his game in LA. He got in a fight with Lemieux,
Mm-hmm.
and then boom, he ended up scoring 2 goals after that and the game winner and ends up being a big part of why they beat the Kings that night. And that's when I'm excited to be a teammate with a guy like that. Like you said, he's got spunk to his game. He's got energy to his game. I think he's a fun kid to watch. And I think for him is just learning how to do it on a night to night basis. And yeah, if there's any way I could help him or teach him or or bring it out of him, that's something that I'm, looking forward to do.
Another positive, Milan, is you'll never lose a fight again with Jack Edwards calling your fights. I anticipate you going under and over 1,000,000 times. So I'm excited to hear those terrible calls.
Oh man.
Do you ever
he's
talk to him
excited
and
too.
just go, pump the brakes, Jack? Like, it's a little much?
No, I haven't talked to him about that. No.
Have you ever talked to him ever? Or is every conversation like, Milan, you're so great. I love you. You're the best player ever.
You know what? Every time I play the Bruins, he always comes down to say hi to me, and we just have a conversation. And he's always smiling, and I'm smiling, and so patient every time, and just see how each other's doing, and we keep it at that.
No, he's a gem. He's a Boston legend, right, Tim?
Sure is.
He's perfect for Boston. All right, Milan. Well, you're heading to Boston tomorrow. I wish you all the luck, my man. I hope you have a fantastic season. We'll be watching and we'll be in touch. Thanks for joining the show. We appreciate it.
Hey, you know what? I'm a fan of you guys. I'm a fan of you. So thanks for having me again.
All right, Luch. Good luck this year, man.
I'm sure you'll have me back on again.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I hope you guys
Yes.
win the cup. I don't think
Thank
we've had a
you.
guy in the show who's won the cup yet, have we, Tim?
Not that year. No.
Not that year. This is the year.
It's the
All right,
year.
All right.
Luch. Get out of here, my man. Thank you very much.
All right. Take care, guys.
See you guys.
Bye.